Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and thanks for watching my new video. In this video I'm going to show you guys how I do my cream contour and how I set it with powder, and also in this video I explain something about what you can do for your face to contour a little bit, so you do understand the theory of like contouring, because it's not like only just putting on some shadows and some highlights and then you're good to go. First thing that I'm going to do is use a concealer which is darker than my skin to do the contour, and then we're going to apply a lighter concealer to do the highlight. And the thing that's really important when you are contouring is actually really knowing your face. So do I have a big forehead? Do I have high cheeks? Is my head a little bit more square? Is my head a little bit more oval? So those are the things that you really need to know about your own face. When I look in the mirror, I see my forehead is a little bit white, so here at the side, so we're going to darken this up. And then I don't have like, it's quite flat, my face is quite flat, I don't really have like cheeks. So what I'm going to do is contour this. When I drag my contour a little bit more downwards, it's going to make this area very small. So I may look like I have very small jaws and I look like kind of like a junkie, something like that. So we're going to make sure that this part has a little bit more volume, this part has to be a little bit slimmer. I'm going to darken this up since my head is quite long, so we don't have a very long face. And yeah, that's it actually. So this is what I'm going to use for concealer. This is Deep Neutral Naked Concealer by Urban Decay, and I'm going to contour with this. I've already put the foundation, as you can see. I'm wearing MAC Cosmetic Studio Fix in NC37. So what I like to do is make a line here. Sometimes you see that beauty bloggers or people who are very into makeup, they like to drag the line all the way to their lips, and you can definitely do that when you have a very round face and you want your face to look a little bit more smaller, a little bit more defined. Well, mine is already kind of defined, so I'm going to stop here. So this part is going to look a little bit more voluminous, so like this. And then I'm going to draw a line here because we want that part to be smaller. Then I'm going to make this part a little bit darker. If your face is not very long and you want to extend your face a little bit, you have to make this part a little bit more light and then your chin a little bit more dark. And I'm going to do the opposite because since I have a little bit of a banana face. Then I'm going to define my nose, not because I want my nose to look smaller, but just to define it a little bit. And I like to darken this area up. And the reason why I really love to darken this area is because I do have a flat face. It's like, it's more Asian. I'm making this part a little bit more dark, so it looks a little bit more 3D. So darken this up. If you do have a very long nose, you should stop here. But since my nose is a little bit shorter, I like to make it a little bit more longer. So contouring works very different for everyone. So if you see someone contouring on Instagram, it doesn't mean that it will look good on you, because you really have to get to know your face a little bit and know what are your like weak points, not a weak point, but how to create balance in your face. To highlight the other parts of my face, I'm going to use Boi-ing by Benefit. And the reason why I really love this concealer is because it's not too light. Well, it is light because we have to highlight, but it's not like 4 or 5 shades lighter than my skin. So we're just going to highlight the face a little bit. So I'm taking a flat brush and use this to highlight this part. If you do have a very small slim face and you want this area to be a little bit more voluminous, you really have to, well, draw a triangle, but you can also go a little bit wider to give this area a little bit more volume. But since I don't have a lot of volume here, I'm just going to leave it in a triangle. I hope all of this makes sense. Since my forehead is wider, I'm not going to highlight this whole area, but just the middle of my forehead. And then I'm going to apply my Cupid bow. You can also contour your lips to make them a little bit fuller. I know this looks very silly. Okay, what I like to do is take a small brush, blend the highlighter or the contour first, and not mix them together. Well, of course we're going to mix them together, but later on. Okay, then I'm going to take this Makeup Addiction brush in short duo fiber brush. So what I like to do now is to get the really natural contouring going on. I like to use a little bit of foundation that I've used today. It's the MAC Studio Fix in NC37, and I'm going to mix dark areas a little bit with the foundation. Okay, so you can see it's blended, but it still has some sort of a shadow. Then taking a little bit, just a little bit foundation, and then blend this part. So as you can see, this here is a little bit harsh. So I'm just taking a brush, soften everything up. So taking a smaller brush, it's the Sigma P88 Precision Flat Angled brush. I am going to dab a little bit foundation into my brush and then blend this area. So you really have to make sure that your contour looks more like shadow than you've actually really contoured. So as you can see, our face does have a little bit of shadow going on, a little bit of highlight going on, and now we are going to really highlight some points of the face. So I'm using Pro Longwear Concealer by MAC in NC20, which is way lighter than my skin, but that's the whole point of this part. So let me grab a brush. So I'm going to use the BH Cosmetics brush in number 8 and highlight certain points of my face. So I'm going to show you. I am going to highlight this area and then this area and also this area. So you can blend this right now. A beauty blender. You see that really gives a 3D effect. So now you really can see where the high points of your face are, just a little bit on the cheekbones. So if you are using a powder over your whole face, it's going to turn out really ashy and really gray. So to prevent that, I am just going to use the Studio Fix in NC30 on the highlighted parts. And this powder is a little bit more dark than the concealer, so it's going to look natural as well. So just the parts that we've highlighted. So then I'm taking Pure Cosmetics bronzer. This is the Mineral Glow bronzer. And I am going to set the darker areas with this bronzer. Not to make it any more darker, but just to set it. So then I'm taking a highlighter, which is my favorite part of doing makeup, and this is Ofra Cosmetics Nikki Tutorials Glow Goals. And you know that if Nikki Tutorials has something launched, it's going to be great. So I'm going to use this highlighter on certain parts of the face and not taking a bigger brush, because if you take a bigger brush, you just really don't know where you put on the highlighter, so it turns out quite like ashy. So to work a little bit more precise, I am going to use a smaller brush. This one is from Spectrum Collection and it's the 805 or B05. And what I also really like is to put on the highlighter first before doing the blush, because sometimes if you put on blush and then put highlighter afterwards, it's going to look, I don't know, it's a little bit more smudgy. And I also like to use my highlighter just a little bit down in the inner part of the face, so if you look straight you can see something of the highlighter. And since you've already contoured, it's very easy to see where you have to put on your highlighter. In the center of the nose. And I also like to put highlighter above my brows. So for blush, I'm going to use the new Blushkit by Anastasia, and I think I'm going to use this color over here. It's Coastline, which is more like a peachy, pinky kind of blush. And what you have to do is, if you have quite like big cheeks and you want your face to look slimmer, you shouldn't bring your blush up to here, but just stop here where I stopped my contour. If you have the opposite like me, quite a flat face without having much volume going on here, you can bring the blush a little bit more towards the inside of the face, so you get, I don't know, a little bit more like chunky cheeks going on. What I like to do is look straight and think that this part of the face has a line, so from the eyes down up here, and I start my blush here. So a little trick. Guys, I'm back. I just did my brows and put on a gloss just to have some sort of a finish, because I'm not going to do the eyes since this video is all about contouring and highlighting. So this is the end result. Of course, I'm not doing this on a daily basis. I only do this when I want to look like super glam or have a special occasion or something like that, or just when I feel like it. And I do always contour and highlight my face, but not always with cream. So remember that. If you want to see a more simple version of a contour and highlight video, let me know. And please let me know what you use for contouring. What is absolutely a must product that I don't know of. Let me know in the comments down below, and hopefully see you next time.